I was actually born hearing. I could hear when I was born. And at the age of about 9 years old, I got sick. And that's where I became deaf.
Since about the age of 7, I knew I was going to work with deaf people. It's the only reason I'm on earth. I started the centre about 25 years ago. I thought, I really need the best person in the country to come and help me. It's got to be Lucas. Because at that stage, he was the first deaf teacher of the deaf, and he was the first deaf principal. And I sent him an SMS and said, "Hi, Lucas, you're a school principal and it's wonderful, but you work at one school. How about you join me and make a difference in the lives of all deaf children?" Because the Centre for Deaf Studies is the only centre of its kind in South Africa and Africa, it was so exciting to get the funding from the EU and the Department of Higher Education. It enabled us to facilitate the appointment of another deaf lecturer. We were able to launch our own publishing house called Wits Resources and publish children's books with deaf, funky characters. And all the books are free. And then, of course, teaching and development. So we were able to develop a postgraduate diploma. The Centre for Deaf Studies has a main focus of creating access for deaf people from cradle to grave. And we do that through teaching and training of teachers, through education, information sharing, and research.
The biggest challenge is the education itself. Our responsibility is to change that, to make sure that teachers get trained in the language and the pedagogy of how to work with deaf learners.
Initially, the Centre for Deaf Studies focused on teachers and teacher training. But as we trained teachers, we found that it wasn't enough. So about 16 years ago, I developed the High Hopes Early Intervention program. And it is amazing. Home-based program where deaf people and hearing people partner, which is the perfect role model for the families to see that their kid is normal, just happens to be deaf.
Ngamthola makana 1 year because bengimnotice ukuthi akezwa ama-sounds, akanyakazi makudlala i-radio or masimculela or masibiza igama lakhe akarespond. It's difficult because sifunda into eziningi every day, but ezinye izinto ngiyakwazi ukuzibamba ngizikhumbule uhlengiwe makafikile ngoba siyayenza nge-revision. Ngisize ngendlela eziningi ngoba bebangibonisa ukuthi ngingamsiza kanjani ubantu, ngikhulume naye kanjani. Like nokuthi nase-crash mangabe bamlwisa ngihandle kanjani i-situation.
We decided to start a deaf art gallery so that deaf people can experience the language and the narrative of deaf art through the eyes and voices and hands of deaf artists speaking for themselves. Lucas is such a remarkable man. Not just a really excellent teacher, but also does community work, supports people in his spare time, and a very strong leader.
Yes, before the situation with COVID happened, we would normally meet at church on Sunday. I want to see deaf professionals, doctors, psychologists in these professions.
So wonderful for you little kids to grow up and see a deaf man who's got a PhD, which is a true role model. Huge dreams. There's a lot more to happen in the next 20 years. And so watch the space.